Good morning. The first news, from my standpoint, well, I don't really stand, I just sit here. And some days are better than others. It's Saturday morning, September 14th. 2024. I like to say that kind of thing. Some others do too. It helps me figure out something, even if things are rejiggered after the fact. I don't get into that. I used to try to use editors. I've already said an editor that I liked, and many that were good, have evolved into video games, and I don't want to play some sort of video game, so that an editor is really, or an editing suite is just a gauntlet that I'd prefer to avoid. But I admire those who do all kinds of things every now and then, and all of that is easier than to find something to say when the question so often, emotionally anyway, often seems to be where to begin. Well, right now, we have public figures who, for example, can't sue anybody, and so on. Someone said, some things are ugly chores and messy politics, everything. My point is that what Trump proves is that there is far more freedom, is that what it is, for people to abuse voters than is generally acknowledged. Yet, who would know more about that than coterie of Republicans? Not that all of them are the same. Many are wannabes more than anything else, but among them are people who know full well what can be done with advertising and one thing or another. It's about like, talking to George McGovern, the ex bomber pilot in World War II. He knew what could happen to people far below. So did John McCain. Many people know. It's not exactly an open secret in a way, and yet it is. So where to begin when we see vice president potentials doing something? I really think that people ought to put on their thinking caps. Remember that there's a certain cat-like phrasing that you'll find in the New York Times and oh golly, who else? Just I can't think, but you know it when you see it, and it varies. It's not everywhere, but it can be found. And so this is written. Put on your thinking cap and read. Let me see here. Someone named Eric Levitz, yet another champion for Vox. I do not understand. Ezra Klein is gone, and maybe there were fights among them, cat fights among them. Well, you can't say that too easily because of all the assignments people have to do in a job. They're ugly jobs, but what I'd like to say is Eric Levitz summoned what it takes to handle many things all at once. And of course, Vance is where they build Mercedes, and we have here someone right across the way from the toilet who's a big red Alabama fan, Roll Tide. And in his limited way, extremely limited, he's put in place by Philip before he left to make matters worse for me. For example, this morning the floor was sticky where he had peed all over the floor of the bathroom. And sometimes, there's shit all over the toilet and one thing or another, and in the shower. So that's, it's an ugly job to clean up after him. And I can't really persuade people to do it very often, unless I, have to make an ugly scene of it. And that's happened time after time. Moving right along, scalability, yeah. This place has Mitchell, the man chosen to back up and do what Philip wouldn't want to do himself, although he has participated fully. He has his gloves on, whereas Mitchell hasn't any, and his fingerprints are everywhere. The smug grips of a studio that should not be making movies anywhere. So, Alabama is run by some very smug people. They have no understanding of why Alabama has been number one. Their only reassessment came at the hands of some folks in Louisiana, but that attitude adjustment didn't last long. And if you look into it, with Mercedes and just the whole thing, it's not a very happy sight. After the scene in this room, and the excuses used, the lame ugliness of confiscation and all that goes with it, and the political pills I take every day, I noticed when I had to be taken somewhere because of my failing health, to see Dr. Teague some time ago now, who told me that they were not cooperating. He said Olive Home is not cooperating with him about my care, and that's why I'm going downhill. I just happened to see that same old thing, limp in and charge out, I think was at the, a used car dealership, that he bought himself his own fire truck, a red truck, Victory red Jeep, looks like an old-timey station wagon, but I think they call it an SUV. I think it's about 2 years old, maybe older, I don't know. Anyway, Mitchell had to do that, because I think he's one of these Roll Tide people. There are a lot of problems in Alabama. And, he rose from what? To become the manager here. And now they will not tell me who owns the place. I think I've told you that I have learned that there's no point in getting in touch with anybody about this crap game, and that after I sent a message to Philip after he asked to be included on my Facebook thing, all of a sudden the vagueness on his presentation on the web changed. Now he takes credit as the owner of almost a dozen regional nursing homes or whatever, without any ambiguousness other than, oh, well, he's clever enough to say that I'm only an agent for all of these, if anybody asks, a consultant or whatever. slime. That's the bottom line. But no, the people who revel in exactly what they're doing is, a little tiny group in the kitchen, and some of the crew that Mitchell has hired, because the turnover is enough now that he can claim some of them. Some of them are still here from the days when carefully selected for their turpitude or bankruptcy by Philip. But the place is profoundly wrong about a lot of things, and it's been made clear to me, crystal clear, that the way things are here is not because of some fluke of a few people that can be routed out, but that people are sitting back saying the same things they've always said. Well, the cosmos is immense, and it'll take a lifetime. Me, and of course I did say about a month after your boy Mitchell, Steve Mitchell, got here, at his order, or who knows, the people who like the internet double the speed of the internet connection that I have here, and for what? Sending this to a few people, knowing that it'll make no difference. Well, I'll tell you what. This is an appeal on Vox, a polite appeal. That they depend on the support of readers to do what they're doing. I guess that doesn't account for every reader or the amount of support or whatever, but the appeal is, of course, one that I can't respond to. My phone lost a few more functions, and now it says it doesn't even detect the memory card in there, the micro memory card. It doesn't even detect it. And so I got ready to take it out and swap it out or do something. And lo and behold, my little pin to open the damn phone, well, is somewhere unknown to me now. I don't know. And because of the urgency, I looked online, and frankly, the best deal was indeed to buy exactly what I bought last time, and that's supposedly on the way. But this time, when I finish using it, I'm going to tape it on the wall, or maybe on the side of the chest of drawers here, right above the espresso machine. A very stark reminder of where it is. But there's nothing that says that won't be taken, or maybe I should lock it in my little strong box. That might be a better idea. Who knows, maybe that's what I did with the one that I bought. I hadn't looked. But anyway, so I'll try to fix the phone. The phone's almost useless, except now that I've tried to provide a way to use the GoPro. The software that would enable that with a PC turns out to be obnoxious. Just an unfriendly deal. But, So, but who knows what I'll be doing? Standing on my head? Well, I'm just not ready. There comes a time when I just have to not. It's hard to do much of anything. In fact, now I've gotten so I'm more annoyed by this light every day. Maybe it's because I don't. What appears to be a fairly bright room when it's not. Of course, promises have been broken about that too. That is to say, some of the same people that Levitz has taken on with some very fine writing. Now, you know, there's something to be said about ideologues into account, and there are ways to do that without, you know, making a bigger mess. But sometimes there are some things that have to be done, and they're called. For me to have any interest at all. In fact, that's the bottom line for me. I'm interested to the extent I can find people like Mr. Levitz, you know, and so on, who know how to express. Then you've got a problem. And that's our problem now. People can turn off this or that. It makes no difference. It just keeps on going. Pick up on a few ideas. That's good, but, well, you know. I've talked long enough. This is 23 minutes. What else is new? Well, there's very little I can do beyond Raymond. You know, I think I mentioned earlier that I've had to put the quality like anybody else.